This week's episode of The Graveyard Shift is brought to you by Amanda P. Amanda suggested our featured movie on our Facebook page. She said she saw this movie a while ago and was curious about what we thought of it. Thank you for the movie suggestion, Amanda. If you have a movie you'd like us to cover on the show, we're going to tell you the ways you can do that at the end of the episode. But before we can get to the end of the episode, we have to start the episode. So, let's begin. My name is Sheldon, and this is The Graveyard Shift, horror with Sheldon and Mike. Mike?
Sheldon?
Mike, this is where you start the theme song?
In a minute, you won't believe this. All of our Twitter followers have joined our Patreon.
All of them?
Yeah!
Does this mean...
We can finally do it! We can finally lease a house where we can watch movies and record together!
Yes! Awesome! We can finally make Graveyard Shift Studios a reality!
We just need to find a house that we can retrofit to our needs. Oh wow, let's hit the listings.
Okay, I am so excited!
Okay, the first is...
A house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun.
Wow. This smells like sin and misery. Ugh.
If those things smelled like B.O. and KY. Alright, Okay, let's see the next house. It looks pretty quaint.
A house in the middle of our street.
This is just terrible for traffic. How are we going to record with all this honking? It's blocking the road. Who puts a house in the middle of the street?
I suppose we could just put on a second floor and let the cars pass through underneath?
Yeah, okay. First, we don't have that many Patreon subscribers yet. Second, we're going to die of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Fine. Okay, the next one sounds like a bondage dungeon, and it's the, Wow, this looks like a nice place, but, seems kind of dated.
Yeah. And the entire floor is scuffed up. Like they've had a bunch of people jumping around every day.
Yeah, and like they just stopped in the mid-90s.
Okay, I'm going to pick the next house.
House of fire. House of fire.
Well, I guess this pile of ashes is off the list now.
Okay, Mike. I got a text from Amanda P. She's got something she wants us to check out. Let's head there now.
Okay, well, it's a nice-looking house. It's spacious, for sure. It's got lots of wax statues giving off a weird smell, but, we can just chuck those. I like the fact that the town seems pretty deserted, so we've got some silence for recording.
Dude, there's a problem. Look at this. The walls are completely made of wax. The floor, too. I mean, this is a terrible idea. Wax is not a good building material.
How the hell is it still standing in this summer heat? I saw a better version of this with Vincent Price in it. Let's go check that place instead.
I'm with you. Except, my feet are now inside the floor.
Fuck, me too. Well, I guess we're stuck with this place. Literally.
This isn't the time for your puns, Mike. Okay, I guess we're recording our next episode here. At least until tomorrow afternoon when the heat kicks in and either we loosen our feet or fall into the basement.
Fine, I'll start the music.
Yeah, start the music. Welcome to episode 26 of The Graveyard Shift, where each week we watch a movie from the horror category, usually one suggested by one of you fine folks, and we cover it in hot wax to preserve it and put it on display in our museum. No, we don't. We don't do that. But we do talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, some production details, and anything else we think is fun or informative. And yes, I said we because horror is better with a friend. Please say hello to the guy that had to take down the wax statue of himself because people kept trying to make out with it. My co-host, Mike.
Hey, everybody.
And how are you doing today, my friend?
Glad to record because this movie needs to be discussed.
It sure does. I was actually really looking forward to this episode. It's been a while since we did a fan suggestion with just the two of us. Lately, it's been a theme where we had guests on and did their movie pick. And I love our guests. They have all been great. And a lot of them are friends of ours, and some more have become friends after being on the show. I'm just saying it's nice every once in a while to go back to the way we started off. And it's good to get one of these old-fashioned episodes done before we start our next theme month. More to come on that later. But as for now, Mike, why don't you tell everyone what we got for them today?
Today's episode is Wax On, Wax Off. Because we watched House of Wax 2005.
Yes, we did. And here is some info about House of Wax. Released in 2005, House of Wax is an American-Australian horror film. It stars Alicia Cuthbert, who is best known for 24, I think.
And she lives in Ottawa.
Ooh.
Yeah, my town. I could have passed by her on the bus and not even known it.
That's it, man. You gotta keep searching that Tinder to see if she's there.
No, she's married to a hockey player.
Of course she is. She lives in... Why else would you live in Ottawa?
Well, you know, if you're willing to marry an Ottawa senator, that is, you know, like that's true love, because you're obviously not in it for the fame.
She's a Canadian girl, man. That's like the ultimate dream of every Canadian girl.
Well, I thought it would be like a Calgary Flame or one of the Maple Leafs, but you know, if it's one of the senators, that's when you're like, you're in it for the love, because she's from Calgary, so you'd think that she'd marry one of the Flames, but no. She went to a Sens game and just thought, you know, I bet he could be a whole lot better off the ice than on it. So, and she was right so far.
Mm-hmm. It also stars Chad Michael Murray, who, according to my wife, is best known for One Tree Hill. Jared Padalecki, who is best known for Supernatural. And Paris Hilton, who is best known for a sex tape and being as dumb as a sack of hammers. It had a budget of $40 million and had a box office return of $70 million, so not bad. It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 25% from critics and 42% audience score, and I completely agree with both of those.
Yep.
House of Wax is a remake of a 1953 Vincent Price movie of the same name, which itself was a remake of a 1933 movie called Mystery of the Wax Museum. As for the plot, 6 friends are stranded near a strange wax museum and soon must fight to survive and keep from being a part of the exhibit. Okay, so Mike, without going into too much detail, because everyone knows we will certainly get into that very soon, what did you think of this one?
It was a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
It had tension, some death, passable characters, but no real hook to make me want to keep it for later.
Yeah. I don't know how else to describe it, except that it really felt like an early 2000 horror movie. Because all of them, like, not, I can't say all of them, because there were some good ones, but I found that the early 2000s was a very bland time for horror. The like late 90s too, like late 90s and carrying over to the early 2000s, everything was kind of just bland, not very interesting. I don't know how else to describe it. Just my love of horror was starting to waver a little bit at that time, just because there was nothing really new and good coming out, and I guess it all felt just kind of shallow to me, I guess. But anyway, we will certainly talk about that, because well, let's start off with the harder part, for me anyway. Let's talk about what we liked about this movie. So, as usual, I usually let you kick us off, so do you want to keep that tradition going?
Sure.
Alright, tell me something you liked about this movie.
Alright, first like, And the award for Best Night Vision Paris Hilton goes to House of Wax 2005.
Was that the best night vision that Paris Hilton was involved in? Because
It's the best that we're reviewing on this show.
yeah, true. Yeah,
That they reference this. Like, I like that she was enough of a sport where they're just like, come on, you know you're famous for this shit. It's the only reason that you didn't have to audition for this movie.
I honestly think
you want to
that
go through with it? And she's like, no, okay.
I honestly think you're giving her way too much credit to think that she was actually aware of what they were doing.
You think that they sniped this on her?
Oh, are you kidding me? Mike, come on. She has the IQ of a peanut. She had no idea what they were doing.
I'm pretty sure, like, afterwards she could be like, oh no, that's like, I'm gonna, like, sue you because you didn't tell me this was happening, and it might be like a law or something. Like, I know lawyers because my dad was one. Or wait, was that the other rich girl? I can't tell us apart.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe she was in on it.
I got a kick out of it. I thought it was a nice.
I thought it was funny too.
I thought it was a funny reference.
I thought that was one of the highlights of the movie for me. Honestly, that he kept trying to record Paris Hilton the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, even after she died,
I laughed. Yeah, I laughed, and that's a like.
Yeah. No, I agree totally. Okay, so for my first one, I gotta say, I was kind of surprised, but the gore in this was actually on point. The kills were done very well. The roadkill pit looked appropriately disgusting.
That's my second like. It was genuinely gross.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, anywhere they use practical effects, it actually looked quite good. So I'm going to give kudos to the effects team, at least the people that did the practical effects, because it was quality work.
Yep. And my next like, since we both agreed on the slaughter pit, was the nod to Vincent Price by making one of the brothers named Vincent.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, so they're still remembering the movie. It's not like they thought that they came up with the idea of a wax museum killer.
No, they didn't forget the Vincent Price movie. They just took a big steamy dump all over it. That's all.
But we're going to throw his name in, so it's an homage,
Of course it was.
It's we're stretching for likes, but yeah. And my next like tied in with what you said, like brutal kills and effects.
Yeah.
They like it. There were times when the CGI looked convincing, like it couldn't be real, but it didn't look fake. And the practical effects were still just disturbing. So
yeah, some of the highlights, like Jared Padalecki's, when he got his face. Well, first of all, when his friend was trying to peel the wax off of his face, and he's like just burned to hell underneath.
Oh. I think he's like ripping the skin off too. Like the skin is just
the
skin is just fused with the wax, and he doesn't get it. Like as soon as if I was picking apart a friend encased in wax, and I was just like, oh fuck, this is like muscle tissue. Like okay, obviously we need to like move you without picking at you, but this Bam Margera motherfucker is just like. Oh, okay, wait, okay, I think I got the wax loose. I just got to get it. Okay, just stay still. Well, okay, it's not an option for you, but okay.
Yeah, really.
And then the guy comes along with that scalpel and that's another like I hear just like, oh, face, no, ouchie.
Yeah, that was a good effect. I liked it. So yeah, definitely the special. I'm gonna talk a bit more about special effects later on, but I'm gonna say that the guys that did the practical effects did a great job.
And the finger.
Oh yeah, I'll get to that. Yeah, I'm gonna mention that was on my likes list. So now that you brought it up, just a scene itself when Carly gets her finger cut off. It looked good. It came out of nowhere. She's putting her finger through the grate. I thought at first the guy Bo was going to step on it. Like it looked
Or
like that's
kick-
what they were setting up to, that he was going to like stomp
Yeah.
on her hand. Then I saw him knelt, like he knelt to pretending to tie a shoe. So I'm like, okay, so now he's going to grab her finger and possibly break it. But no, he pulls out a pair of pliers and cuts it off. Totally, like it happened so fast. I will give them props for that. They did catch me off guard and actually made me go, because not a whole lot of things like make me wince, but when it comes to getting like fingers or toes or something cut off, that usually makes me a bit squeamish. I'll admit that. And they did a good job with that one. And it wasn't even like her entire finger; it was just a tip, like the second knuckle. But god damn, it was effective.
Oh.
All right, what do you got next?
And the award for Best Paris Hilton Head Joke goes to House of Wax 2005.
I knew you were going to mention that. Oh, God.
Really, when that pipe, like, you think like, oh, well, she might be pregnant, so they're not going to kill a pregnant woman. Nope, they will outright kill a pregnant woman.
Oh, yeah.
And like, it's just so sudden. As soon as she peeks her head over the door, and the guy just like throws a pipe through her skull.
And then,
Slides down.
He's got the it was a good kill. I like the kill. And then he's got the guy's camcorder, and is just recording her in like the most like amateur porn look ever.
Well, that my final like is, and the award for Paris Hilton being recorded on her knees goes to House of Wax 2005, narrowly beating One Night in Paris by a 10-to-1 ratio. They're sweeping tonight's awards, Sheldon, but you gotta give credit where it's due.
Oh,
Let's give him a hand.
So 3 out of your 4 likes involve Paris Hilton.
And my award show shtick.
So I got to say, this is my last one. So I guess I didn't really have a whole lot to say about this one in regards to likes, but the premise of killing people and putting their bodies on display, something about how morbid that is really terrifying. Especially when you consider that some people are still alive when they did the whole waxing process on them. To have to stay in that position, unable to move, in excruciating pain, and just wait to die. Man, honestly, I can't think of a lot of other things that would be worse than that.
Oh, it's the ultimate claustrophobia.
Oh my god, that the whole process, just because you only see it happen to one person, like the whole like their waxing technique, but Jesus, it was done very effectively. So
Disturbing as hell.
the movie didn't have a whole lot of highlights for me, but that was definitely one of them.
It had the building blocks of being a great movie.
Yeah, like it could have. Yeah, well, we'll get into that, but like it did have some moments that I liked, but overall, not really. And
Well, you can have building blocks, but not
Yeah.
everyone makes a castle out of their building blocks. Some of them spell part of their name and just give up at that.
yeah, that was me.
So my final like is when the brother sees what his sister has done with the truck and says, "Nice park job." Just like that really sounds like something my dad would say. Like if he has a chance to criticize a woman's driving, bet he's taking it. Imminent danger be damned.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to put a woman in her place regarding her driving skills.
Okay, so that's it for our likes. So
I'm done.
we blew through those pretty quickly. So that, like I said,
It's only been 15 minutes.
they've really earned that 25% Rotten Tomatoes score. So I'm going to kick off the dislikes because apparently I'm more critical than you. So I'm going to kick it off, and we already mentioned this a little bit, but I really didn't like how disconnected this movie was from the 1953 Vincent Price version. It's pretty much the same, only in title and the whole covering the victims in wax premise. Everything else is different. Like, there's the motivation for the killings, how it's done, like the villain, or villains in this one, I guess, but that was all changed. So, yeah, it's another one of those again, something about the early 2000s, another one of those early 2000s remakes that they seem to think that the best way to do a remake is to just dumb it down for a new audience.
Steal the name and nothing else.
Yeah. So yeah, and when it comes to remakes of some classic horror, this is one of the worst offenders for me. So that's all I'm going to say about that. If you're going to watch A House of Wax, watch the Vincent Price version.
I can't wait to see like a version of Captain America 30 years down the road, where it's just like a police officer who throws his badge around. Like that if this is what Hollywood's idea of remakes are, like, let's just take the name and the very faintest premise, which has nothing to do with what everybody loves about it, and let's just apply it to the movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my first dislike is Sam Winchester's molestache.
Yeah, he had a nice little pencil thin douche stash going on.
He looked like a child molester. Like, he really looked like he's the reason behind those kids on the milk cartons.
Yeah. Speaking of
just not a likable dude.
Speaking of pedo stashes, have you seen John's new mustache?
Oh my god, he looks like the Green River Killer. Like, you look at Gary Ridgway, and you look at him, bam.
I'm like, yeah. He said, because I was cracking up. I saw it at work. I saw the picture when I was taking a break at work. He says, "Hey, I kind of look like Paul Blart," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're not wrong. You look like Paul Blart. If Paul Blart's not allowed to come in within 100 feet of a elementary school." But like, hey, and the thing is, I don't feel bad for like saying that about John, because he would be the first person to say that about himself.
Oh yeah, he looks. Oh my god, you know, he would look like the dad of the science teacher from Stranger Things.
Oh shit! Yeah, you nailed it.
Okay, so your next dislike?
Yep. And this one was a major one because I did not like any of the characters in this movie. I found them all pretty annoying, actually. If I were to describe 6 types of people that I don't want to hang around, I pretty much would describe just all the 6 main characters in this.
All right, break down the characters. I want to hear this.
No, I'm not going through each one, because like, just watch the movie and you'll know what I mean. They're just so moronic. They're all a bunch of airheads. They're the most
rapper wannabe, the airhead, the guy with a permanent bad attitude, as in Dan from Hollow's End.
Yeah.
And, what was his name? Nick in this one. Then you've got the stoner idiot. And then you've got the wishy-washy molestache guy, who is probably a well-meaning dude, but just doesn't present it in any way possible.
Yep. Yeah, it's just these are the type of people that if I went on a camping trip, like somehow I got roped into going on a camping trip or anything with them, I would be going to bed early. Just so that I didn't have to be around them, because I would be so annoyed. But that's just me. Maybe some people found them delightful.
And they had to come up with the idea of like the good twin and the bad twin. But in this case, the 2 brothers are both evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we got that guy with the wax face who likes to hide behind things, and he's like the fucking Jason of the group. Like, he'll just like stab through floors, walls.
Yeah. Well, since you brought it up, I'll just say I had this on my list as well as a dislike. The villains, the whole backstory, the premise, their intentions. I thought the whole thing was just very, for lack of a better word, it was stupid. I mean, come on, they were creating an entire town of wax-covered dead people.
How do you kill an entire town before someone realizes something's up?
Well,
How does an entire town
the
not
thing
realize,
is-
hey, 10 people have gone missing in the last 2 days.
Well-
That's like a third of the population.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They said at the end that this town was abandoned, and they said that looks like they've been pulling people off the interstate for years. So these people, they weren't residents of the town, at least the majority of them. These were people that they were killing and bringing, like, that happened to
People
wander
who came
into
through
town.
looking for gas or a part for
Or
their car.
they just, like, literally said they pulled them off the interstate. Like, so they may have been, I don't know, setting traps for people on the interstate. Who knows?
Shit.
Because that's what I thought,
Okay.
too. But once it got to the end, I'm like, oh, okay, so they didn't actually go and, like, wipe out the entire town. Like, the town was abandoned. But, for the most part. But, yeah, but still, like, I don't know, like, it just... And I know, like, of course, with any type of horror movie, you can't take... There's always got to be... You can't take things too seriously. You've always got to just let some things go. But the motivation behind it, I just didn't buy it, I guess.
Oh, and when we meet Bo at the funeral, he said like he just lost somebody. Did the mother just die, or was he just visiting a rotting corpse every day?
I think so.
And holding a funeral every day?
From the look of it afterwards, I don't think that this was something fresh. I think he's just going there, like, replaying, like, visiting her in the funeral home.
Every day.
Yeah, so I just didn't buy it. It was, I guess I know they're nuts, and so sometimes there doesn't need to be motivation behind someone's actions, but
Even then,
they
that's
played it out like there was motivation, and yeah, I just didn't buy it.
Yeah, and on that note, they talked about they revealed that there was the third brother, who when it makes sense that he was the guy doing the roadkill, but was he a villain then? Because he's waving goodbye at the people like, y'all come back now, you hear? Like, he doesn't seem choked up about the loss of both of his brothers. Is he glad that someone put a stop to them?
Maybe.
Did he send these people to town in hopes that they would kill them? Is he the hero of this movie?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's kind of left a bit open-ended, right? So we have no idea what his...
Like, he couldn't face his brothers because they're family, so did he keep bringing people in hoping if he finds someone young and strong enough that they'll
I don't
stop
know.
them?
Like, I think he was a villain just simply because he really did try to bring them into town.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything afterwards, and he wasn't grieving his brothers.
No. Well, I mean, he couldn't really do anything there. I mean, he was surrounded by police.
No, you'd think he'd, like, have an angry face or be like, y'all done killed my family, you're next.
Yeah.
No, he's just, like, smiling and waving, like he took a burden off, like they took a burden off of him. There's just, like, this character is so fucking thin. You have no idea, like, is he glad they're gone? Or is he gonna, like, get revenge on the people? Like,
No, that's
what
the
the
thing.
hell is he?
We don't know. Like, that's just another very weak plot point to this movie.
A thinly written character with no motivation.
Yeah, so another reason to not like it. So what else you got on your dislikes?
Are you okay after falling face first into the roadkill pit? It's okay. I got a bottle of water in my purse. Because this little bottle of Evian is going to wash both your arms and legs of massive bacteria-ridden sludge rot. It's like, what's next? Is she going to give her like a keychain Purell? Because that's going to do the job. I mean, this girl needs a fucking Silkwood shower after falling into the sludge pit.
Yeah.
She's like, don't worry, I
a
got
shower?
some water.
If I fell into that, I'd be like, well, somebody light a fire because I'm about to disinfect myself.
Well, you need the Silkwood shower. Did you ever see that movie?
No, I guess not.
Oh, Silkwood is a movie about a lawyer. I think it's a lawyer. She visits a town that's suffering radiation poisoning, and by the time she's done visiting some certain places, like some guy hits her with a Geiger counter, and she's like crackling off the charts. So it shows her being scrubbed down by a medical team.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, so the term Silkwood shower is just like when you need to be you don't need hot soap and water. You need to be friggin' scoured and debrided.
Awesome.
And that's basically what I would need if I fell into this road pit. I'm just like, I'm not going to get meningitis. I'm not going to get staphylococcus, anything with the word cock and eye in it. I'm not going to have it. I'm just going to just take away my skin. Okay? I'll grow new skin.
Mike is not a fan of being cockeyed. You heard it there, folks. I'd be going to like the nearest like medical supply store, chemical supply store, and buying a entire barrel of peroxide and literally climbing into it.
I am taking a Javex bath.
Yep.
Yep. I'm just going to take a nice chlorine bath. Just plug my nose, roll around in it for about a good minute or two, and then get me some soap and water. Or just water.
And no matter what I did, I'd never feel clean again.
Nope, I'd always be looking under my fingernails like, is there some deer sinew under my nails?
Yeah.
Do I have any hoof chaff in my hair?
So, I've only got one more thing on my dislikes list. And this is another one of those movies where I could have went on for a long time if I wanted to analyze it like bit by bit, but we do try to keep these things a little brief. While I gave the practical effects team some kudos in my likes list because I thought all the practical effects were done nicely, that CGI ending, all the melting wax CGI, like the whole house collapsing, that really, to me, looked terrible. I would say that this movie is 12 years old, so CG has come a long way since that. But, man, there were plenty of movies before this that had CG-heavy scenes that looked much better. And I mean,
Jurassic Park.
And this wasn't, for a horror movie, this wasn't low budget. Like, $40 million, I don't consider that, like, really low budget.
Yeah,
I mean, it didn't have a $100 million budget like Jurassic Park or anything like that came out 10 years before. But it's certainly, I've seen movies with lower budgets that did much better CGI scenes. So I really don't think that's an excuse. Yeah, just no, I just didn't do it for me. I thought it looked crappy. It looked like some really bad CG green screening going on, and it totally took away from like how good I thought the effects were leading up to that.
Yeah, like a fire in the center, but only 1/4 of the house is still standing long enough for them to dig through the wall.
Yeah.
Rather than everything melting evenly.
Yeah, I'm going to talk more about that ending in a little bit, but because we got another category to take care of before we finish off this movie. But yeah, it was too bad. Like they had a good. I would admit, if nothing else, going through it, I was like, well, at least the special effects in this are good. And then that big climax at the end, I'm like, and there it goes. My respect for this movie melted like a house of wax. Okay, you got anything else in your dislikes?
No, I'm done.
All right. And so I think we're both in agreement that since we've got our likes and dislikes lists taken care of, that we both got a big entry for the category that we like to call What the Fuck, which is where we take a movie and we describe a certain scene, or it doesn't have to be a scene, but a part of the movie that just
if there's something that makes you scratch your head.
It's something that's baffling. Something like, why would you put this in your movie? And for me, it was right in the title, House of Wax. They literally built not just a house, a very big building, entirely of wax. Not just, a coating on the outside or the things inside, like the exhibits were made of wax. Not like, a good metal or wooden frame and then the rest is wax. The entire building was completely made of wax.
This thing should not be standing in the summer.
No, it should not. It should. How do you build that in the first place?
Yeah, where do you get that much wax? Like, how do you lay down the groundwork, the foundation for that shit?
No, I'm sorry. That's not... Like, there's a reason why buildings have metal frames, or at least, sturdy wood frames. Like, there's got to be something else. You can't just make everything out of wax. Like, maybe
it needs a skeleton.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's like, there's people that deal in wax that make wax sculptures, and one of the difficult things about it, and I did look this up, like I said, what's difficult about making a wax sculpture is making sure that it's well supported, because wax apparently is a hard building material to work with. That's to make
weak. It's very weak and malleable.
Exactly. That's why it's used to make like lifelike figures in these wax museums and things, because it's a very malleable and pliable material. Yeah, like that would not happen. I'm sorry. It's just that's the most ridiculous thing ever, and that is something like, at least in the original, not the original, but at least the Vincent Price and the original Mystery of the Wax Museum, it was a wax museum. The figures in it were made of wax. Well, later they were, actual cadavers that were dipped in wax and put on display. But the building itself was not made of wax. Like, why would they go with that?
They just thought the title should be literal.
And this is what I'm talking about taking a classic movie and doing a remake that you just dumb down. Like, you didn't literally have to make it a house of wax. You could have made it just a wax museum. All the figures inside were made of wax. You could have had it just catch on fire and burn down, and they had to escape a burning building. It didn't have to be a melting wax building. Anyway, I just thought that was one of the most ridiculous things I've seen in a movie.
Yeah, I had like 3 things that made me scratch my head. The first one you explained earlier, because I first thought, like, if you buckle people up, why would you use duct tape? But you explained to me that apparently with just leather straps you can wiggle those buckles off.
You can, yep. I'm not going to get into how I know that, but you can.
Yeah, Sheldon values his privacy, and those records are sealed.
Mm-hmm.
So the first what the fuck I'm going to get into is, was there any car that had like a one rear wheel drive system? Because Carly tips this thing. Okay, what is that thing that she loses the car on? Is it like a lawn that's like over the sidewalk, or was it a pool? She tips the truck over something.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, when she steals the redneck's truck, she tries to peel out of the driveway, but I guess like the lawn is elevated over the sidewalk. So she tips the truck over it. It's why the brother says nice park job later on. Because she tips it over like half of the back of the truck over the edge of the pool lawn sidewalk thing. But the other back tire is still on the ground. So when she's spinning the tire, I'm just like, that other tire is spinning on the ground. This car isn't like elevated off the ground completely. You've only got one wheel off of it. So, and also the truck, when she's gunning it, it's shooting smoke out the side of the tires like some multi-exhaust dragster. It was just like, what the fuck is up with that truck? Was the drive system only in the left rear tire?
I guess so.
And another what the fuck is, it was daylight when everybody left Paris Hilton with Ain't Got a Chance the rapper. And only when it's like near midnight, when it's pitch black, then she's beginning to strip for her guy. Like, there's being a tease, and then there's this. I mean, come on, he sends those guys out saying like, hey man, I want to bang my girlfriend. How about you guys take off? You go look for the other guys. And they do. And it's like, what? 3 in the afternoon, and then it's like 8 o'clock at night. They spend 5 hours of just like slowly making out in the tent before she's just like, all right, I'm ready to go all the way now.
Yeah,
Like,
I do remember that now that you mention it, yeah.
5-hour foreplay? Come on. And then the final place, the final, what the fuck? The place burns up and nobody frees Wade. And, like, this doesn't free Wade from his wax prison. He's still alive.
The last you see of him, he's still sitting at the piano as he gradually, like, sinks through the floor.
Like, he should have thought, like, all that heat should have melted the wax off of him, and then he could, like, limp or crawl his way out.
I don't think that's the reason why he couldn't move, because didn't Vincent stab him with some kind of, like, paralytic agent?
Yeah, but that should wear off eventually.
Well, I don't know. We don't know what kind of framing system they've got there, because you know some people are propped up. They've got framing systems to be able to make a move. Maybe, like, there's more than that holding him in place.
Well, we see him, and he's just covered in wax and at the piano. So
yeah,
nothing is explained that he's got like a metal frame in his coat.
Well, I mean, I'm sure
they
would take care of something, or like he would just. I mean, I don't think. Like, come on, you've touched wax before. It's not exactly a strong material. Hence, going back to us talking about why did you think it would be a viable building material? Like, if he had I don't think that wax would just hold him into place. It's got to be something else. It's either this, whatever they inject him with paralyzes them permanently, or there's got to be some kind of...
In that fire, though, he's still coated in wax. It's not like even if he is paralyzed, we should see his skin at this point.
Well,
like,
that's what I mean. There's got to be some kind of other... There must be some... And, oh my god, I can't believe we're analyzing this stupid movie this much. But there's got to be, that's what I mean, maybe under the clothing somewhere, there's got to be some kind of framing system that keeps him into place.
Maybe, but those two people could have picked him up and carried him out and wait for the paralytic to wear off.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he went for a piano ride down to the basement, so his last thoughts were, whee!
His thoughts were like, every single one of you cunts has failed me.
He's just falling to the basement. You're a bitch!
Fuck you and your brother!
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done with what the fucks.
Jesus, that was way too much time spent on trying to figure out this stupid movie.
We blasted through the likes. We're only at 40 minutes here. We gotta pad this out a bit.
Well, I mean, we do have something else to talk about, because you've got a certain segment that I'm curious. I think I know what one you're going with, but sometimes you have surprised me. So let me... No, you know what? I'm not even going to guess. You just do your thing.
We've got some selection on this week's Kill of the Week. And, despite what you may think, I'm gonna give it to Wade.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm surprised.
You thought I was gonna do Paris, right?
You wish.
Who wouldn't?
Me, because I don't like having, like, some kind of fungus or bacteria growing on my crotch. So, I didn't know. I thought maybe Paris, or maybe even whatever the camera guy, because that was a pretty cool kill. But
yeah, he only sees the guy and he's just like, "No, dude, wait."
Yep.
But no, I'm giving it to Wade because he has genuinely had the most prolonged torture.
Oh yeah.
It is the longest death I think we've ever seen, because it started from the end of the first third of the movie, and it ran until the very fucking end when the house melted, taking him with it. It is the slowest death, and he suffers throughout the whole thing, and you're never sure when he dies until it's pretty obvious when he can no longer be alive.
Yeah. Yeah, because we have no idea if he's still alive or not the last time we see him.
Yeah, did he die of shock after having his face chopped off?
I hope so, because, man, like I said, I can't, being turned into a living wax sculpture, I can't think of very many other deaths that would be more excruciating.
Except having half of your face cut off, having your half of your lower jaw cut off,
Yeah.
and then you just see your teeth and your shit. And, so, yeah, it goes to him because it is the most gruesome death I think we've ever seen in any of these movies. Because at least when it's a quick kill, like you're being mounted in the wall with a knife in your heart, at least that's quick.
Yeah.
This has gone on for hours of agony and torture. There's nothing like it.
No, that is very true. That's a good point. So, yeah, it kind of surprised me because I guess I was thinking, like, because it was a bit prolonged, like, maybe you wouldn't pick that one. But I agree. It was a horrible kill, so that makes it a worthy pick.
At least Paris Hilton, like, when she got that pipe done, there wasn't any suffering.
No.
It's like you just look up, you see a pipe, and all of a sudden you're standing in a cloud, and everyone's just like, you were a good host, so you get to go behind the pearly gates and...
Okay. All right. Yeah, so good kill. Good choice. Okay, well, that is House of Wax 2005. I think we're in agreement with this one. Just see the Vincent Price version.
Yeah. Like, surprisingly, there's, like, the good parts of this are really good, and yet it still altogether wasn't that great.
No.
Despite the fact that these good parts were really good.
Yeah, anything that was good about it that I like was done very well. I'll give, like I said, I give them total props for that. The practical effects team did a good job. Everything else was complete crap.
Oh, I think one thing I forgot to put in the dislikes was the music.
Oh, yeah, that too.
It's so fucking jarring and takes away from everything. Like, so I tried watching the end credits and it was just like screamo music.
Mm-hmm. It was, like I said, man, it was 2005. That's what was happening in the music scene.
It was like the worst part of the Burnout 3 soundtrack.
Yeah. So yeah, just watch the Vincent Price version. It's a better movie, and you'll feel smarter for it.
It's got class, sophistication, a house made of actual construction materials.
Have you seen the not the Vincent Price, but the actual original Mystery of the Wax Museum? Did you see that one before?
No, I haven't. But
I haven't. I gotta check it out.
From what I've read, the premise is the same.
And apparently, the only description is that for a 1933 movie, it was actually very complex and very well done. So I got to check it out sometime. So yeah, I kind of I can't imagine how the whole waxing process, being like, you know, the whole being waxed alive thing feels. I can kind of figure it out a little bit because, you know, those scented candles, the ones that are in the jars.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody accidentally knocked one of those over on my crotch once. Like a lit one, like that was mostly like liquid wax inside.
My crotch is pain and pumpkin spice.
Oh man, let me tell you, there wasn't much. It wasn't a whole lot of stuff going on down there for a few days. Ruined my. I had a new pair of jeans that were completely ruined because wax wouldn't wash out, and yeah, I had a nice little crotch burn, little, you know, red peen for a while.
Wow, it was actually that hot. Like, I've heard movies or like scenes where like people like pour wax on each other's bodies, so I can't imagine wax being that hot.
Yeah, it's a little different than the whole like erotic, like slowly dripping, like, you know, a little bit of hot wax, and all of a sudden there's like what was probably like about maybe 2 cups of molten wax all of a sudden so like quickly dumped onto your lap.
And maybe it's a different maybe there's different types of wax. Like the scented wax is a higher burning point, so it lasts longer. And then there's like romantic candles, which are like low burning points, so you don't scald the fuck out of somebody when you've got them tied to the bed.
Maybe. All I know is that it hurt a lot, and there was some blistering. And
yeah, because there's other people that like that tear hair out with wax. So that wax would also have to have a low boiling point. so that you don't scald the fuck out of the person and you take off the skin with the hair.
No, I've dipped my finger into like a wax candle, just a small candle, just like put it out by dipping my finger in it. That's fine, but like I said, that's different than like a small amount slowly than having a large amount quickly dumped onto you. So yeah, it didn't feel good, and it was weird because it was actually during a power outage. A few of us friends were together. We were just playing some cards around a table, and we needed candles. So this is what my buddy got, was just like one of his mom's big jar Senate candles, and lit it. And someone reached across the table for some to grab a card and knocked the candle over and directly into my lap.
Ooh.
Yeah, fun night. Okay, so with that horror story out of the way, that is our coverage of House of Wax. But we're not done just yet, because just like we heard from Amanda, we want to hear from you. If you have a movie suggestion for us, questions, comments, criticism, we are open to all of that. Just if it's criticism, be nice. But you got a few options to get in contact with us. You can do it the old-fashioned way by emailing us at graveyardshiftpod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter. Just search at GYS_horrorpod. And we're very active on Twitter. Our Twitter following is growing very quickly. Thank you guys for that. And you can also check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. If you'd like to make a donation to the show to help out with the maintenance and upkeep and promotion, you can do so by going on to www.patreon.com/graveyard. All our Patreon donors get access to exclusive content, bonus episodes, things that we just do for Patreon, and we've got a little bit of a catalog there now, so it's some good stuff. You might want to check it out. Sometimes we do something special, sometimes it's just an extended episode, an uncut extended episode of our regular episode, but every month we post something there. And I gotta say, it's some pretty good stuff. You definitely will enjoy it. But of course, we do realize that not everybody has the money to give us money. That's okay. You can still help us out a ton. Best way to do that, go on to iTunes, rate, review, subscribe. In the long run, that's actually what's going to help us out the most. So if you could do that, we certainly appreciate it. And if that is not an option for you, if you're not an Apple user, that's okay. Just keep doing like you're doing right now. You're finding our show somehow. Keep listening to it the way you do it, whether it's on directly from our website, on Podbean, if it's on Facebook or Twitter because we share the episodes there, or you're finding it some other way, like maybe Stitcher or Google Play. Keep doing it. Share us with some people that you think would enjoy the show, either by social media or word of mouth, whatever it takes. So, Mike, if people want to hear more from you, because this is not the only show you do, so why don't you tell everyone about what else you got going on?
Well, if you like video games, specifically old Super Nintendo games, Game Boy games, and Nintendo games, I do a podcast called Playing with Power, where me and two Americans from Arizona talk about Nintendo Power Magazine, one issue at a time, from the first to the last, front to back. And it's like 1/3 reading Nintendo Power Magazine and the other 2/3 vulgarity and terrible stories.
It's good. I really enjoy it. This is how this podcast actually came to life. It's because, first of all, I was a fan of Playing with Power. If you're a fan of old Nintendo games, or you had a subscription to the Nintendo Power Magazine back in the day, then check it out. You will like it. The guys are hilarious. And we get a little vulgar on this show. We get about 1% as vulgar as you do on this one. So if that's your thing, you'll definitely like it. And if you're curious about how to find them, you can actually check out our website or Facebook page or Twitter, because we actually, when we come out with a new episode, we're actually going to be sharing it there. So you can find both of us on our social media platforms. Well, that is it for us tonight. But Mike, I think this episode is done, but it seems like we're forgetting something.
What's coming up next?
Well, Mike, I guess that's it for this episode. I think we're done, but it seems like we're forgetting something.
Yeah, it's the end of November right now. Something's coming up. We were going to announce it, but I can't.
Wait, Mike.
What?
Do you hear that?
I think I do.
Do you know
Is
what
that-
this? Do you know what this means?
It's the month of Dismember.
Yes, it's time to announce our December theme.
Right? Yes, December, not Dismember.
Yeah, so Mike, would you like to do the honors for what we've got coming up?
Oh, yes. Well, our theme for this month is Chris Massacre.
That is right. All December long, we're going to be offering up some festive frights that'll send a shiver down your stocking. It all starts next week, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. Mike, why don't you tell them what movies we've got coming up for December?
We have A Christmas Horror Story with William Shatner in it as a DJ, so that's going to be precious. And then we got You Better Watch Out, which I haven't watched out for yet.
I haven't seen that one. I'm very much looking forward to seeing it.
And then we've got Krampus. And I believe we're finishing it up with Black Christmas.
That's right, the classic, the original Black Christmas. Now, these movies may not be, we might not do them in this order. We've still got to arrange some things there. We're not exactly 100% sure what order we're going to do them. We're pretty certain that Black Christmas is going to be the last one that we do. As for the other three, we've got to iron some things out because we may be joined by we may have some guests, some friends may be joining us. Some you may know that were already on the show before. Some that are going to be new to the show. You may have heard of them, but you haven't heard them on the show just yet. I think, I don't know why. Don't get me wrong. Love Halloween. I may be looking more forward to our December theme than I was looking forward to our October theme. So I could be wrong. This could be a total bust. This could be awful episodes, but I think they're going to be good.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's great. So yeah, that's going to be all December long. Our theme is Chris Massacre, and I think we're going to have a good time. So be on the lookout for that. Until then, I'm Sheldon.
I'm Mike.
And thank you for joining us on the Graveyard Shift. I gotta say, the gore in this movie was actually on point. On pint? Jesus, I need a beer. Okay, let's...
Sounds like you're on point.